Well, it is 7:50 and I'm here at Millbrae Station with my dad.
Hi.
And we're getting ready to get on a BART to 12th Street, Oakland City Center, which will take us to an Amtrak train, which is going to kick off a massive coast-to-coast rail adventure.
In August 2021, my dad and I took a week-long rail adventure from California to New York in order to visit my grandmother. We traveled on Amtrak's USA Rail Pass, and this is day one of that adventure.
Made it to 12th Street City Center. Now it's time for a short walk to Oakland Jack London Square. Oakland Jack London Square, famous for tracks running down the middle of the street. Right there, the first train of the trip, San Joaquin number 712. That's going to take us to Bakersfield.
Despite the Amtrak-advised routing of taking the 7:36 departure of the San Joaquin, we decided to take the 9:30 departure, simply because we had no easy way to get to Oakland, because on Sundays, BART doesn't run early enough to get us to Oakland Jack London at 7:30. Over here is the southbound Coast Starlight headed towards LA with some very special cargo on the back.
Private car and a P-42.
Those F40PHs are former New Jersey Transit. What are they doing near Stockton? Instead of visiting LA, we chose to route via the town of Barstow in California, because I found that there was a direct bus from Bakersfield to Barstow, and conveniently enough, the Southwest Chief stops in Barstow.
So about halfway along the route in Merced right now. This is a connection to Yosemite for the buses that run there. Halfway to Bakersfield. About 3 hours left until we get there. The journey is so far kind of nice. Just standard Central California.
These are high-speed rail tracks currently under construction.
Seven hours later, and we have arrived in lovely, lovely Bakersfield, described as the armpit of California. It's like over 100 degrees right now. We're here to transfer onto a bus, which will take us to Barstow.
The bus to Barstow rode the highway near the Tehachapi Loop, a famous loop that connects trains from Bakersfield to LA. And our Amtrak train would have been able to ride that loop all the way to LA if it wasn't for the Union Pacific citing that the single-track main line could not handle the increased traffic that San Joaquin trains would bring. And that is why my dad and I were forced to take a bus from Bakersfield. And if we had chosen to route via LA, we would have had to take a bus from there too.
The town itself has a nice little railroad museum with a signal garden, an old caboose.
The wind absolutely destroyed the audio of my shot here, but what I basically was saying was that after 2.5 hours, the bus dropped me off in Barstow, and this is where I'm going to pick up the Southwest Chief, which is going to take me and my dad to Kansas City. And also, the Barstow train station has a train museum.
The Barstow Station building is in a former Harvey House, which was also known as Casa del Desierto, or House of the Desert. I wonder why they named it that.
The train museum had several exhibits of passenger equipment that I sadly didn't get any footage of.
There's also big boys like this SD locomotive, SD40, formerly owned by Union Pacific, and now it sits here as an exhibit in the harsh desert sun. Being up close with the locomotives really shows just how massive they are. Like, this is my hand compared to the ditch light. Crazy. Another cool locomotive in their collection is this former Santa Fe loco. It's a bit of a rare design because you don't normally see freight locomotives with the full engine cowl. That's where the body is completely covered and flush with the edges, and that's what this freight locomotive has. Although it's possible that this one was also used for passenger services when it was in service. So after a quick consultation with Wikipedia, it turned out that this locomotive is an FP45, and it was used in passenger service for Santa Fe's premier El Capitan services, which I believe follows the route of the Southwest Chief, which my dad and I are going to be taking tonight. Another cool locomotive in the Railroad Museum's collection is this switcher locomotive, which has been called Beep, and is created by the Baldwin Locomotive Company, and on top of the door it says Dinky. The back there, this engine right here is a Ferromix, so that means it's from Mexico. Cool.
The remainder of our 3.5 hour layover in Barstow was spent by visiting the world's first Del Taco, supposedly, and watching freight trains. Lots and lots and lots of freight trains.
Arrival of the Southwest Chief, day one is over. My thoughts on today are that it was hot, it was a little bit boring because Central Valley, and I'm excited for what tomorrow has in store. Any thoughts? Thanks for watching, bye.